Make sure his family understands that we have not forgotten him. And
Absolutely.
So,
and we'll never forget.
hell no. Hell no. So, when David, told me about this, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be here. This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. So,
Initially at Ali Al Salim Air Base in Kuwait, and then we went forward and secured Baghdad International in Iraq in 2003. We initially went to war with Saddam and his evil regime. So this flag that we're going to put over the coffin was part of that conflict, and what we did is we flew it in the Predator that was actually taking the enemies out. So it's really special. It's not even been taken out of the box. I've got a certificate of authenticity with it where we actually showed that it was flown over there. But today this is going to be a part of our example of exactly what's happening to our veterans and what these prescription medications are causing to our bodies from the inside out. And we're going to bring awareness to medical cannabis and the treatment option that veterans should have that conversation, should be able to have that conversation with their physician. This shouldn't be a legal issue at all. Lawmakers should not be involved in this at all. It should be physicians either determining it's a good objective for their patients or not, because it may not work for everybody, but we know that it does work for the majority of people who use it as a therapeutic option. So that's what we're trying to do is stop the 22 veterans today that are committing suicide from PTSD, because the medications make them a zombie. And we're trying to alleviate those issues, and we're trying to stop the over-medication from the Veterans Administration with chronic pain management, different antipsychotics that we're on to treat the PTSD. So we're trying to bring awareness to all that and make sure that that's taken care of. So this flag will represent exactly the conflict that we've already gone through in Iraq in 2003 and the war that we still fight nowadays, because we're still fighting a war with the state legislature in Georgia for medical cannabis cultivation here in the state. So we have access to medicine. We don't have to continue to be federal potential prisoners. That's not what we want to be. We don't want to break federal law, so we need to have in-state cultivation here in Georgia. We show the public what the Veterans Administration and what the lawmakers don't see happening to our veterans from the inside out. These pills are representative of exactly what happens to veterans. So this is just a few of the medications that veterans are issued every single day across the country, and they're dying from the inside out. So now we're bringing this to the forefront, and we're educating the lawmakers so they understand exactly what's going on. They're killing us from the inside out. And all we're asking for is so that we can have a legitimate conversation with our physicians to talk about medical cannabis as a treatment option, because medical cannabis is something that we know we can ingest and use that we cannot overdose and die from. And that's the real key, because when you take these medications, you are at greater risk of accidentally overdosing. Not potentially, but it is truly a fact that we lose veterans at a 50% greater rate from accidental overdose than civilians in the world every single day. So this is representation of what we're putting in our bodies, and we're asking the state lawmakers to understand why we want access to in-state cultivation of medical cannabis here in Georgia, and we want to have that conversation with our physicians to make sure that we can use a medicine that we're not going to overdose and die from. So thank you for joining us on Facebook. There'll be more to go. We're going to have a press conference here with the podium, and we'll go a couple of different testimonies, from very powerful testimonies from people whose lives have been touched very close with suicides, with accidental overdoses. So stay tuned. We'll keep you guys informed. And today's a day of a revolution. Today we start the revolution. We're going to make it happen.
I have a friend. He's a Navy veteran, lives in Louisiana, and he takes 38 prescriptions a month. His medical bill from the VA is $14,000 a month. Is what his medications talk, and he will be on these for the rest of his life. If he was allowed access to medical marijuana, providing him with an ounce of medical marijuana a week, 4 ounces a month, the VA could get away with about $1,500 a month at current prices. Some of the medications are so toxic that it's done caused kidney failure, One of his kidneys is operating at 75%, the other one is only at 10%. And because of the medications are so toxic, he has to change them out every 3 months. He can only take it for 3 months at a time. He says, and during that time, he says he goes through bout of withdrawals for 2 weeks. So he has to plan that every 3 months. And this is something this man has to live with for the rest of his life for serving his country. And we think that this is something that is not acceptable. He should have access to anything that helps ease his pain and can help him with a better quality of life.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Joshua Littrell. I'm here with Veterans for Cannabis. I'm surrounded by veterans and people who are wanting to further the cause for medical cannabis. There's a lot of things that are going on in this state right now. Our state's full of so many different things that are happening, but there's one thing that can save lives, one thing that can prevent needless deaths, and that's medical cannabis. We lose 22 veterans a day due to suicide from PTSD. And most of the time, it's not because they can't get away from those memories in Iraq or Kuwait or Vietnam or wherever they served. It's not because of those memories. It's because the medications that they give you, the antipsychotic medications that they give you, prevent you from being yourself. And that's what we're here to bring complete knowledge to the state lawmakers here in our state to understand why we want access to medical cannabis. So with PTSD, when we take these antipsychotics, it literally makes us walk around as zombies. That's the reason we lose 22 men and women who I serve with, my brothers and sisters in arms, every single day due to suicide, because they are zombies. They feel like they're not themselves. When we go to war, we know we're not going to come back the same. We understand that. But what we don't understand is when we get back, we don't have the help that we're begging for from the Veterans Administration. Stop making us federal criminals. We don't want that anymore. We want to do things the right way. Veterans have complete integrity in everything that we do. So know that if we use cannabis, it's to save our own life, not for recreational purposes. This is completely medical. We want medical access to it, and that's what we're demanding right now. I'd like to introduce Representative David Clark to come up and share his story, and then we have a number of other sources.
Well, I'm honored to be standing here this morning, standing for my brothers and sisters, and standing for the 22 that are killing themselves a day because of so many drugs and overdosing and all that. And I think a big thing is they say that we have not tested enough about the medical marijuana, the cannabis oil. And what I see is, with Merck, a pharmaceutical company, they put their drug Vioxx, a painkiller, on the market and 60,000 died, just like that. So you tell me that medical marijuana is not safe? That's a total lie, and there's no fact on that.
Good morning. My name is Jared Turner. I'm a former Army combat medic, and I'm here because unfortunately on December 22nd, I had to bury my 10th soldier. The young man that I'm referring to, his name was Stephen Cruz. Stephen had a wife and he had 3 kids. Unfortunately, due to the lack of attention, the lack of assistance, Stephen decided that he couldn't take it anymore. So Stephen decided to end his pain. 15 days prior to Stephen taking his life, the VA dispensed him another pharmaceutical med without doing any blood work, without doing any thorough follow-up. And subsequently, Stephen has taken his life. We have an opportunity to actually do something different. We have an opportunity to save lives. Let's not play politics. Again, Stephen, he's not here to play politics. The last memory that I have of Stephen is of his 14-year-old daughter leaning over a casket, asking if she can see her dad one more time. We can't keep doing this. This is unacceptable. We have an option. We have an option. Our veterans are not criminals. They're good men and women who have given all that they have. They deserve better. They deserve more. We cannot turn our backs on them.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Joshua Littrell, Veterans for Cannabis, for putting this on and inviting us all out. I'm a veteran. I'm also a passionate advocate. I'm a father, a voter, a taxpayer, and a proud citizen of the great state of Georgia. By the way, my name is James Meisner. I left that out. I'm also a patient. Now, not in the sense that I could actually benefit from anything Georgia has passed, or anywhere in the South for that matter, but I definitely do suffer from chronic back pain, degenerative disc, and my own forms of PTSD. This isn't combat-related PTSD, as I never saw any combat during my enlistment. While much of it can be attributed to my service and reintroduction to civilian life, a lot of it can be attributed to the same types of life situations so many of you may also have experienced. During my time in the United States Coast Guard, I was stationed across the southeast from North Carolina to New Orleans. I participated in over 1,000 search and rescue operations, resulting in hundreds of lives saved and millions of dollars in property salvaged. I'm also a former federal maritime law enforcement officer with the United States Coast Guard. I was involved in nearly 1,500 law enforcement cases, including safety and fishery inspections, homeland security patrols, migrant operations, and drug interdictions. Being directly involved in the war on drugs, I know just how big of a failure it has been. It makes criminals out of patients and addicts, and it racially and systematically divides us all. It is a war on us all. Now, for all of my proud moments and accomplishments, I can assure you that there was much darkness, despair, and failure, and death. Not accomplishing your mission, not being on time. Questions to yourself that never go away. Did you make the right decisions? And all the what-ifs. These are the life situations that affect so many of the citizens of Georgia, from doctors, nurses, EMT, to police and firemen, and the list goes on. So you see, I know it's not just combat veterans that suffer from PTSD. I also know that with at least 22 veterans committing suicide every single day, with 1 in 5 Americans on some form of psychiatric drug, and nearly 50% of all Americans on some form of pharmaceutical drug, that the answer is not in the bottom of the pill bottle. In states that have enacted medical cannabis laws, there have been 25% fewer deaths associated with opioid painkillers. Prescription painkillers alone are responsible for around 50,000 deaths a year. This has been one of the most devastating and fastest growing epidemics in America. It is time for Georgia to move forward. It's time for Georgia to move forward with providing our veterans and all citizens an answer to this over-medication epidemic. It is time for cultivation in the state of Georgia.
Hello. My name is Miguel Tully. I am the founder of GI Greens and Patients Medicine, and I'm here today in support of Joshua Luttrell and Veterans for Cannabis. I'm an infantry veteran. I served in Iraq and Korea. After my deployment, I was on so many pharmaceuticals that I suffered brain hemorrhage and a stroke when I was 24 years old. Since then, I moved to Colorado, where I have been caregiving for my veteran friends and for a 15-year-old with cerebral palsy named Jack Split, who inspired Jack's Amendment in Colorado. My first experience with the effects of pharmaceuticals came from when I was in basic training and my friend who I enlisted with from Georgia committed suicide when he took an overdose of painkillers when we were in basic. Since then, a number of my friends have left this world due to all the pharmaceuticals and all the pills that we have been prescribed by the system for everything that we have suffered overseas. And these men and women behind me today, we stand here and fight for access at home for cannabis cultivation so I can come home and stop breaking federal law. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is John Jackson. I'm a United States Army Ranger, 6 deployments, 2 over in Iraq, 4 in Afghanistan. Last year, I got out of the military due to chronic PTSD, traumatic brain injury due to multiple explosions. Within that time, I've lost 12 friends to suicide. One of them this week, his name was Eddie Fabinsky. And on the way up here to the Capitol carrying that casket, I could not help but think that with so many of my brothers that I've carried in the past 11 years and that I've lost, carrying this casket today is a new chapter in my life. Because what it meant was that guys like Eddie Fabinsky, the 22 that died per day, they're not getting the help that they need. 2 years ago, I was sitting watching my last sunset and thinking to myself that I wasn't going to go past that day. Had it not been for my son who walked in the room, I would not be here talking to you guys today. I'm on so many prescriptions, medications to tamper down and manage my PTSD that it is absolutely sickening. And the only thing I ask for the VA and my brothers and sisters who are back here, the only thing we care about is the quality of life. When I was a veteran, I served my country, full honor, Bronze Star recipient, did what I had to do. When I come back, the only thing that I care about is that my quality of life is important. And so with quality of life, the only thing they can do is give me prescription pill after prescription pill after prescription pill after prescription pill to manage my symptoms. So as a result, from the prescription pills, I get more depression. I'm depressed, they give me prescription pills to have more depression. I go to talk to them about my anxiety. They give me prescription pills that create more anxiety. I want to read you guys something. These are some of the side effects of the drugs that these prescription pills give: drowsiness, dizziness, nausea, shaking, weight gain, mask-like facial expressions, inability to keep still, and agitation may occur. These are all things that our government and the folks who say that yes, these pills are good for you, you need to take. I'm going to go further. May cause suicidal ideations, may cause anxiety, may cause drooling, trouble swallowing, fainting, signs of infection, persistent cough. And then there's a clause there on every single one of those prescriptions. You know what it says? Remember that your doctor has prescribed this medication because he or she has judged that the benefit to you is greater than the risk of the side effects. I want you guys to understand that. They're saying that the benefit to you is greater than the risk of the side effects. As a result, some of the prescription pills actually cause increase of blood sugar, diabetes. Guess who has diabetes? John Jackson. I found out two weeks ago that I am type 2 diabetic. I go to my research and I start looking at the prescription drugs that they give me: Latuda, Seroquel, Ambien, all those things. They cause an increase in blood sugar and things like that. And I asked my doctor, why am I on this now? Now I'm on insulin for the rest of my life. Where's my quality of life? Did I not fight for my country to take care of the people that I need to take care of? Did I not go willingly to fight the enemies of my country?
Thank you, Josh, for putting this on. Thank you, everybody. My name is Tom McCain. I'm a retired Air Force veteran. Spent 20 years in there between 1971 and 1991. I retired from the Air Force, became a Georgia peace officer, and I retired from that as Chief Deputy at Johnson County. What I want to say is this: I'm not a combat veteran, but every veteran suffers from some type of PTSD, and it's not something that's strictly a veteran's condition. Now, there's people all over the United States that suffer from different types of PTSD. What I want to point out here is the hypocrisy of the U.S. government. They have known for years that cannabis has medical properties. They have done studies under the National Institute of Health, National Cancer Research Institute, that prove that cannabis works as medicine. They even hold a patent. The U.S. government holds a patent on THC as a brain protectant and an antioxidant. But yet, it is still on Schedule 1, having no known medical properties, and the VA therefore cannot or will not act because it is still on Schedule 1.
Members of the media, everyone here today, I want to say thank you so very much. Take a look at us. There are 11 of us here. This represents half of the amount of veterans that are going to take their life today. Today, we're going to lose 22 veterans to suicide from PTSD and other related issues that prescription medications cause. We're begging. We're in fact demanding of their deal, the time for inaction has passed.